Elon Musk just revealed the real math behind CyberCab's impossible price. Under $30,000 while Waymo burns $180,000 per vehicle. Operating at just 20 cents per mile when competitors can't break a dollar. The leaked internal documents show Tesla's actual trick isn't adding technology, it's strategic elimination. No steering wheel saves $1,000. Plastic body panels instead of aluminum cuts $2,500. Single motor versus dual drops $3,000. But here's what shocked engineers. The 700-pound weight reduction alone slashes operational costs by 40%. So is this genius engineering or dangerous corner cutting? And why did Musk keep this formula secret until now? Picture this. Last Tuesday morning, San Francisco wakes up to a power outage. Traffic lights go dark, and suddenly Waymo's entire autonomous fleet just freezes. Not slowly, not carefully. They literally stop at intersections like someone hit a giant pause button across the city. Here's what gets me about this whole thing. These aren't cheap cars. Each Waymo vehicle carries $180,000 worth of cutting-edge sensors. 29 cameras, 5 LiDAR units, 6 radar systems, all designed specifically to handle the unexpected. Yet a simple power outage creates total chaos. The technical explanation almost sounds like a joke. Their vehicles are programmed to treat dark intersections as four-way stops requiring remote human confirmation. Within minutes, over 7,000 requests flood their monitoring center. The system collapses. Passengers sit stranded while Waymo physically retrieves vehicles in batches like broken appliances. This is the moment everything Elon Musk has been saying suddenly makes sense. Not because Tesla's perfect, but because Waymo's approach reveals a fundamental flaw nobody wanted to admit. More sensors don't equal more capability. Sometimes they just create more things that can go wrong. Let's talk money for a second, because this is where things get genuinely shocking. That $180,000 per vehicle? That's just the beginning. When a LiDAR unit fails after 6 months of continuous operation, and they do fail, you're replacing a $20,000 component. Not $200, not $2,000. $20,000 for a single sensor. Now multiply that across a fleet. Factor in software updates that require recalibrating dozens of interdependent sensors. Add the cost of mapping every single city in detail before vehicles can even operate there. The economics become suffocating. This explains something that puzzled me for years. Why does Waymo only operate in a handful of cities despite massive funding and a decade of development? It's not technical difficulty, it's economic impossibility. Their architecture resists scaling by design. Meanwhile, Tesla's planning global rollout by late 2026. How? By doing something the automotive industry considers borderline insane, removing components instead of adding them. The leaked CyberCab specifications read like someone decided to build a car by asking, "What can we eliminate?" instead of, "What can we add?" And honestly, it's brilliant in a way that makes you question everything you thought you knew about vehicle design. No steering wheel saves $1,200. No pedals removes $800. No traditional dashboard cuts $600. Before touching major systems, you're already down $2,600 just by accepting a simple truth. Robotaxis don't need human controls. But here's where it gets interesting. Tesla chose single-motor, rear-wheel drive. Industry experts immediately attacked this decision. Less powerful, less safe, they shouted, except they're missing the entire point. Think about what a robotaxi actually does. It doesn't race from stoplight to stoplight. It doesn't need supercar acceleration. It makes smooth, predictable stops and starts all day, carrying passengers who want comfort, not thrills. The single motor delivers exactly that while cutting $3,000 in costs and reducing maintenance complexity dramatically. The battery decision shows even clearer thinking. Tesla-sized CyberCab's battery under 50 kilowatt hours. Everyone said this was crazy. Not enough range. But look at real Robotaxi patterns. Trips average 20 to 40 miles. The vehicle makes 15 to 20 trips daily, with charging breaks between rides. That smaller battery costs $4,000 less, weighs substantially less, and charges faster during downtime. Tesla didn't compromise. They optimized for reality instead of perception. This part genuinely surprised me when I first saw the numbers. CyberCab weighs 3,000 to 3,200 pounds. That's 700 to 900 pounds lighter than Model 3. And no, removing a steering wheel and using a smaller battery doesn't account for half a ton of weight savings. Tesla's using front and rear gigacastings that replace hundreds of individual parts with two massive aluminum pieces. Traditional car bodies use hundreds of stamped parts welded together. Each weld adds weight. Each joint needs reinforcement. Gigacasting eliminates approximately 270 components and all their connection points in one stroke. But here's what makes this approach genuinely revolutionary. Weight reduction compounds. Lighter vehicle needs less energy to move. Less energy allows smaller battery. Smaller battery weighs less. Lower weight reduces tire wear and brake maintenance. The entire system becomes more efficient through one fundamental change. Engineers estimate that 700-pound reduction alone improves efficiency by 18 to 22%. When you're targeting 20 cents per mile operating cost, that efficiency gain delivers more value than any sensor Waymo could install. This isn't just different engineering. This is different thinking. When news leaked that CyberCab uses plastic body panels, the automotive world lost its mind. Cheap, flimsy, Tesla's cutting corners. The criticism was immediate and brutal. Except nobody stopped to think about why plastic might actually make sense. Polyurethane plastic costs 40% less than aluminum and weighs 30% less. But the real advantage emerges over time. Picture a robotaxi operating in a city. Minor parking bumps happen constantly, metal dense. Plastic flexes and returns to shape. No bodywork needed, no paint matching required. A CyberCab in Chicago won't rust after 200,000 miles of winter operation. Tesla's projections show $2,500 in lifetime maintenance savings per vehicle. And here's something clever most people missed. Plastic molds can be modified easily compared to metal stamping dies. Tesla can refine the design based on real-world data without retooling entire production lines. That flexibility compounds as they learn from actual operation. The two-seat interior generated instant backlash. Too small. Nobody will use this. Critics immediately compared it to traditional taxis. But consider the actual numbers. 70% of rideshare trips carry one or two passengers on short city routes. Tesla isn't building for every possible use case. They're optimizing for the majority scenario that represents the highest volume. No rear bench means simpler everything. Easier cleaning between rides. Smaller HVAC system. Lower weight. Fewer failure points. Tesla projects $50 cleaning costs for normal messes versus over $200 for traditional taxi interior detailing. There's something else, though. That dedicated two-seat setup actually feels more personal than sitting in some generic five-seater's back row. The cabin is yours for that journey, not shared space you're borrowing. Sometimes limitations create better experiences. This is where the leaked documents get really interesting. Tesla claims 20 cents per mile operating cost. Traditional taxis run 80 cents to $1.20 per mile. Uber's internal costs hit 60 to 80 cents before driver payments. How does Tesla reach 1/4 the industry baseline? Start with energy. 5.5 miles per kilowatt hour at 12 cents per kilowatt hour equals 2.2 cents per mile. Gasoline vehicles burn 15 to 25 cents per mile, even at good efficiency. Electric wins by 7 to 11 times on fuel costs alone. Maintenance tells the bigger story. Electric drivetrains have roughly 20 moving parts versus 2,000 plus in gas engines. No oil changes, transmission work, or exhaust repairs. Tesla's fleet data shows 4 to 6 cents per mile sustained over 200,000 plus miles. Add depreciation at 10 cents per mile for a $30,000 vehicle over 300,000 miles. Insurance runs 3 to 4 cents per mile. Total, 19 to 22 cents per mile. Now consider the implications. At 20 cents cost, charging passengers 40 cents per mile generates 100% profit while undercutting rideshare by 50 to 60%. This isn't better economics. This is complete market disruption. Tesla's launching Robotaxi service with Model Y while CyberCab develops. This isn't Plan B. This is strategic brilliance. Model Y has 7 billion supervised FSD miles of real data. Every software version has been tested on Model Y's hardware across millions of vehicles. Launching with proven Model Y minimizes regulatory questions while the platform is already validated at massive scale. The recent Juniper refresh shows robotaxi thinking embedded in consumer vehicles. Better aerodynamics add 20 miles of range, critical for continuous operation. Quieter cabin from double-pane glass delivers premium experience passengers expect. Interior improvements were developed for robotaxi use, but given to all buyers. This parallel strategy compounds advantages. Model Y Robotaxi generates revenue and operational learning throughout 2026, while CyberCab production ramps. By late 2027, Tesla will have refined autonomous service across hundreds of thousands of real rides. Nobody else can develop at this scale simultaneously. Here's what the documents don't say directly, but everyone in the industry understands. Tesla's pushing hard for federal autonomous vehicle standards instead of state-by-state approval. Why? Because CyberCab's design becomes its regulatory advantage. A purpose-built autonomous vehicle with no manual controls is actually simpler to certify than modified cars with steering wheels. Standardized components and predictable behavior make CyberCab more straightforward to regulate than Waymo's modified Jaguars. If federal standards favor purpose-built autonomous vehicles, Tesla wins before competitors can respond. CyberCab becomes the reference design everyone else must match. Look, everything in these leaks points one direction. Tesla found a path to autonomous transportation that's simultaneously cheaper, simpler, and more scalable than competitors. Not marginally better, fundamentally different. But this creates an uncomfortable reality. If Tesla's right, what does that say about billions invested in sensor-heavy approaches? Are competitors pursuing safety through redundancy? Or have they built sophisticated justifications for approaches that simply can't scale? We'll know the answer as CyberCab moves from prototypes to production over the next 18 months. Either Tesla cracked the code on practical autonomous economics, or we're about to discover complexity that simplification can't overcome. What's undeniable, the $30,000 price and 20-cent operating cost aren't ambitious targets. They're requirements for autonomous transportation to achieve real scale. And right now, only Tesla has committed to architecture that hits those numbers. The question isn't whether autonomous vehicles will transform transportation. The question is whose approach actually works when you need thousands of vehicles operating profitably in cities worldwide. That's what makes these leaks so significant. They're not showing us Tesla's plans. They're showing us what viable autonomous transportation economics must look like. Here's the bottom line. Tesla redesigned the entire economics of autonomous transportation. That $30,000 price and 20-cent operating cost aren't marketing. They're the requirements for global scale. Only CyberCab hits those targets. The $150,000 gap between CyberCab and Waymo is the difference between 5 cities and worldwide transformation. Removing components isn't cost-cutting. It's the only viable strategy at scale. Production starts April 2026. Within 18 months, we'll know if this works, but the leaked documents prove sustainable robotaxi economics require exactly what Tesla built. My question: would you buy a $30,000 CyberCab to earn income in Tesla's network? Drop your honest take in the comments below. If this gave you clarity, hit that like button. Subscribe to Tesla Zone for deep technical analysis you won't find elsewhere. Turn on notifications. Major Tesla bot developments drop in 2 days. This is Tesla Zone, showing you why it matters and what's next. The $30,000 Robotaxi marks when car ownership becomes optional. That future starts April 2026. See you next time.